with you.
An elderly Fielding woman didn't even have time to put down her groceries before she was stabbed to death, a court in Palmerston North heard today. David Cornier is charged with the murders of Margaret Walden and Ted Ferguson at Ted's Fielding flat in May this year.
David Cornier in court today, accused of what the Crown prosecutor describes as 2 vicious murders. It's alleged that in May this year, Cornier stabbed 76-year-old Margaret Walden 6 times in the hand, chest and back the moment she walked in the door.
As some groceries and other personal items, other belongings had not been put down by her before she too was murderously attacked.
After killing Mrs. Walden, the Crown claims Cornier went into Mr. Ferguson's bedroom and attacked the 73-year-old pensioner.
The deceased Ted Ferguson had been viciously murdered by being stabbed at least 21 times.
The 2 bodies were not discovered till almost 2 days later, after friends alerted police that the pair weren't answering their door. One of the last times they were both seen alive was drinking with family and friends at Fielding's Manchester Tavern. The court heard that Ted and Margaret's relationship had just broken up that night. They turned up separately to the tavern and left apart.
Dad went first and Margaret went about half an hour after him.
Ms. Blake told the court she and a companion had planned to walk with Margaret to her stepfather's flat. But the older woman had gone ahead, and the final glimpse of her was as she went into the flat.
Yeah, and went inside, so we knew she must be okay.
Instead, she and Ted Ferguson met a violent death. Ms. Blake told the court she'd first met David Cornier at the tavern a week before the alleged murders, and she'd spoken to him. The Crown is calling 32 witnesses during the depositions hearing, which is expected to last up to 2 weeks. John Newton, One News.
Barge operators have been warned to improve their work practices in an urgent safety bulletin from Maritime New Zealand. Serious concerns about the industry emerged after the deaths of 2 truck drivers in August.
Serene today, but in August, these waters claimed the lives of 2 truckies. Alan Headley Tempero and Tony William Phillips drowned when their 2 concrete trucks slipped off a barge and sank to the bottom of Picton Harbour.
There was a very serious accident which occurred in August, a very tragic accident. 2 people lost their lives. That accident is currently under investigation.
Now Maritime New Zealand says barge operators have become complacent and there's potential for another tragedy.
The early findings of our investigation is that there are issues with stability and loading, and we want to bring this to the attention of the operators to prevent a reoccurrence.
Over 100 barges like this one operate in New Zealand, usually carrying heavy machinery and trucks.
And we do have concerns because it could possibly be that operators maybe are getting a little bit complacent or maybe not appreciating that the situations have changed, that loads are getting heavier.
Neither the barge operator nor Firth Industries, the company the men work for, were available for comment today. The bulletin asks operators to not exceed the maximum loading weight of the barge, ensure all vehicles can't move, and treat every situation as different. Maritime New Zealand is tight-lipped about the causes of the August accident, but One News understands human error is being investigated as one probable cause. And since that August accident, 2 other near-fatal barge accidents involving other companies have also come to light. Maritime New Zealand hopes they'll be the last. Simon Bradwell, One News.
Meridian Energy is banking a cheque for $1.5 billion after selling out of Southern Hydro, its Australian subsidiary. But food giant Fonterra is increasing its Trans-Tasman investment. It's announced plans for a $16 million research facility in Victoria. On the share market today, the top 50 index up 22 points on moderate turnover of $90 million. Carter Holt was unchanged after its independent directors asked Graham Hart to extend his takeover offer to give shareholders more time to evaluate the company's finances, and PGG Wrightson surged to a record high. On the money markets, the New Zealand dollar has eased slightly against most of the currencies we monitor. The only car ever owned by the late Pope John Paul II has fetched a handsome price at auction. A Houston millionaire paid just over $981,000 for the 1975 Ford Escort. It was described as being in original papal condition with no hubcaps or radio and dented in several places. And that price included the rosary beads. Now here's Neil with sport, and our women's hockey team crossed the Tasman to back up their big win, Neil.
Yeah, well, it took them 5 years and 23 games to do it, Kate. Very exciting. And we really need the next one as the Black Sticks brace for an Aussie backlash. Plus, soccer goals galore from the UK and Europe. And not a spare tackle in sight, the All Blacks get a history lesson.